would tell you 95% of what we do, 95% of the projects we go execute on require a change order. Almost every single thing we do requires a change order. If you're a PM and you're not writing that many change orders, something's wrong. Okay? There's that many change orders required. It's the sheer nature of the business. It's next to impossible to define every single circumstance that could possibly happen when you go do something. Especially something as big as Home Depot or Walmart, right? So 900 stores. Every store is different. It's impossible to define every single thing that could happen. Every single one of the exceptions should be a change order. Okay? So this is the document you would use for a change order. Okay, it's called the change request form. It's the document you use for this specific SOW. Every SOW has a very specific change order form that goes with it. The Barrister one that we'll talk about here in a second has a sample change order form that you use, and that's the one we typically use. But this one has its own change form. It's important you use that one. Okay? Change request form, you gotta put the requester name, requester organization, date requested, date response requested by, the change requested. Describe the change. Hey, Barrister is now required to provide red and or green paper for every installation to mark DOA versus good unused equipment when being returned to Home Depot. That's the change. Okay, that's the change requested. Estimated schedule impact and estimated price impact. Two types of change. Schedule, it's going to make us run slower, or it's going to change dates. Or price, instead of costing $200, it's going to cost $250. Okay? Then everybody's required to sign it. Second page has some summary information for it, and then this is filed away with the contract. Okay? Change orders must happen before the change event happens. I.e., before the technician spends 4 hours on site troubleshooting network cabling, someone needs to communicate, the project manager needs to communicate to the customer saying, hey, the network's a mess. To be able to do what you want us to do, we gotta go troubleshoot the network. You authorize us this time. Yes or no? No? Okay, I'm gonna have my guy leave. Let us know if you want us to come back. Yes? Great. Here's the change order. Please sign it. Once you get it back to me, I'll have my guy go do the work. Okay? Cannot do the work and then ask for a change order. That's like saying you want a dress, you bought a dress, and then somebody telling you the price is twice as much. Wouldn't like it. Same thing. Can't do the work and then ask for the change order.
For the price, like the additional compensation, who decides that?
Typically, I'm gonna have you work with me on those, but the statement of work, if it's any good, is gonna define out-of-scope rates. Okay? So, like in this one, it just defines a revisit fee, okay? And so we could play with that revisit fee. In most of our CBW ones, all of the price and all of the SOWs are based on an hourly rate. So we would just apply that hourly rate to it, okay? Hey, we're gonna go do, instead of 8,900 devices, it's 1,000 devices, okay? Here's your new rate. Instead of, we need 3 extra hours to complete this work. Okay, it was built on $75 an hour, so that's $225.
Okay.
Okay? Another key thing, and I'm glad you made that point, Krista, because it reminded me to bring something up. Change orders do not go through sales. PMs do change orders. Once sales sells a deal, they signed, they got a signed SOW and they got a change, a sales to ops, they're done. Sales should never hear about that deal again, and we should never need anything from sales again. Project manager owns it, cradle to grave. Okay? They own change orders. Don't need to go to sales to get change orders. Questions? Everybody understands statement of work?
Is there a turnaround time on the change form?
Typically, it's immediate, right? So it depends on the customer. Well, it depends on the situation and the request and the type of change will determine, you know, the urgency, right? If my guy's on site and sees that I need 3 hours worth of network
Right.
troubleshooting, I gotta have that right now, because I can't have that tech spend 3 hours waiting, right? Because that's not billable. Till I get that change order, that's not billable. However, nobody can turn around a signed document inside of 2 minutes, right? So then it's the verbal communication. It's, okay, I'm gonna send you an email saying I'm sending you a change order, saying you already verbally approved it. Please reply back to me inside a few minutes. Let me know that you agree. We can process the signature on the document separately. That guy gets you back that email in 5 minutes, great, you're good to go, and you can authorize your technician to stay. If he doesn't, it's calling that guy back in 5 minutes and saying, hey, look, my technician's got about 2 minutes before I have to tell him to leave. I need you to reply in writing to that change order, okay? Because then you got something to stipulate what was agreed to.
Right.
Right? If it's something like, you know, these 15 stores, the schedule's gonna be changed, well, that's something that's more of a week to 2 week time frame, so you can wait for a signed change order and you don't have to do anything until you get the sign. But at least verbal over the phone and written via email communication that charge was authorized.
Okay.
Can't do it without the verbal, without the written confirmation, okay? Just doing it over the phone, don't count. Oh, Mikey said. I don't know who Mikey is, I know what you're talking about. Okay? Absolutely critical, it's gotta happen before. Can't have the technician spend 4 hours on site, then call us and say, oh, I didn't even get started yet because I couldn't find the equipment. Too late. Too late. Can't do that. Okay? We'll try it, but customer's gonna say no. Okay? That's why the project manager is so key, and those project coordinators are so key, because they need to be communicating with that technician. If he's supposed to be there at 8, they need to be on the phone with him at 7:50, figure out where he is. And at 8:01, if they haven't heard from him again saying he's on site, they need to be on the phone with him. 8:01, right? Because we gotta know if there's an issue. I gotta know if there's an issue before it happens. I can't wait to the end of an ETA, right, to 10 o'clock. It's supposed to take 2 hours, so I'm gonna call him at 10 o'clock. Too late. Because if he tells you you've screwed around for 2 hours, you can't do anything about it at that point. We also really plow into the technicians' heads. They gotta call their PM when they arrive, or if they have any issues, okay? And the reason for that is exactly this, change orders, okay? It's why we do the conference bridges, because instead of a technician calling in to a queue and saying, oh, I held for 10 minutes, the conference bridge, he gets immediate assistance. Somebody is there waiting for him immediately. Even if that person's helping somebody else, when he dials in, we can say, give us just 2 seconds, be right back with you, finish with the first guy you're working with and come back to the second guy. There is no, I held on hold for 10 minutes, right? And if you just try to call Megan direct, she may be helping somebody else, then you get her voicemail, her phone rings 2 more times, it's 30 minutes before she gets back to you, right? If you have a conference bridge, you can give that guy immediate assistance. Megan hates my conference bridge idea. It drives her nuts. She hates sitting on conference bridges all day, but it helps her.
Sure do.
Doesn't it help?
It does, but it's still a pain in my bum.
Okay, well, that's all right. I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I know you was gonna say it. Okay. That was my only question, because I know we run into any commercial where it takes, say, I was supposed to be here for an hour, but I've been here for 5, can y'all compensate me? That's why I was asking if y'all have those issues where things just come up in.
And dispatch will go, if you got a good dispatcher, and I try to train this in all of my dispatchers' heads, if they go over with these guys, they have to explain, got a good dispatcher. They go over with these guys, hey man, if you're stuck, well, you gotta remember, we're reading the scope to the guy, right? So we
Right.
tell them, if you do anything, if you're asked to do anything outside of here, stop, call me. If you call me, I can probably get you more money, I can compensate you for the time you spend, all those kind of things. If you don't call me, and you wait till the very end of the day, call me and tell me about all the things you did that day besides, right, pound sand. Pound sand. There's not a lot, there's several Walmart technicians that have that very problem. Oh, I had to do this, and I had to wait for that. Call me and tell me about it. Oh, I tried, I sat on hold. No, you didn't.
There's a bridge, right?
No, you didn't.
Right.
Bullshit. Okay? The conference bridge takes the whole excuse out. I help with tech support. Well, then you're an idiot, because tech support's not involved. So, no, I'm definitely not paying you, right? Same old typical stuff.
My favorite Walmart tech was the guy that went to site and installed registers, not pin pads,
Registers.
registers.
And they were supposed to be installing pin pads?
He went to the wrong location.
Oh, no. Charity
And
work.
he's like, you didn't send me with the right tool list. You didn't even come close to doing the right scope of
Now, they
work.
have a
That's
copy of that page that
Yes.
shows what they're
Yes.
supposed to be doing, right?
Yes.
Yes. And then what we're gonna talk about here in a second is an install guide. It's typically about this thick, and it's stand in front of the machine, hit the power button,
Work. Yeah, that
unscrew
was
the
the-
second right screw. So he's got that level of detail.
With
and
pictures.
with pictures. I got a couple of them. They
So
don't
tip
read
support should
them.
even- right.
They don't read them.
At that point, you eliminate those technicians from the list.
You got it.
Deactivated.
Yeah, we call it deactivated.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we do. I
Wow.
can't tell you the amount of Walmart technicians who would call me and say, I've been trying to get a hold of people forever. Well then, you must not have a copy of your install. Oh yeah, I got it. Okay, go to page 2. Okay, I'm on page 2. What's the first thing to tell you? Unscrewed, you're not looking at your install guide, because number 1 says call the conference bridge.
Doesn't
Call
it
the
say
conference bridge.
in the paperwork that they're supposed to arrive there an hour early to review that install guide?
They're supposed to review the install guide before going to site.
Right.
That we tell them that during the dispatch process. And our confirmers, we got our confirm script in here, our confirmers are going over that paperwork with them when they're calling to do
So
our
it's just
3-day,
based
2-day, 1-day.
stupidity.
You gotta get it down to, and that's the key to this business, right? The key to this business is we expect absolutely nothing of the service technician, okay? They are only gonna do what you make them do. You gotta think of them as puppets, okay? They're little hand puppets. The only thing they're gonna do is what you move their fingers to do, okay? So you gotta remind them 7 times, you gotta call them 15 times, you gotta make sure they're doing it, you gotta call them, you gotta tell them over and over and over again, otherwise they won't do it. It's not good enough, I sent them a document, I told them in the document. Process. They don't listen. They're contractors, okay? They're unemployed for a reason. The way I always tell people to think about it, okay? If they were really brilliant, they'd be working at Apple or Microsoft or Google.
Right.
Okay? By nature, they're not gonna be the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay? They got a lot of skill. Some of them do this business and are very good, right? And they make a lot of money at it. But some of them, special. It's the way we use it.
Some of them you send on projects and they end up working for NCR.
Customer has that
NCR.
customer. They have a separate program where they can hire professionals.
Wow.
On-site staffing. The slide before, we talked about on-site staffing.
Right.
They go from, they did a Walmart to now they're on-site staffing. Project purpose we sell, we can sell them. That should serve us too, I guess. Okay. Questions? Questions on that one? No? Alright, let's go ahead, we can take a break here. It's almost 10:53, take a break, come back at 11:05. We are still gonna go to, we'll do lunch at 12. Okay, so we'll, take a break here, run for another hour going through the two other different SOWs, and then, we'll break for lunch. Okay?